Big Memorial Day weekend. Great to be back here at home in Las Vegas. We got a sick card tomorrow night. I cannot wait to see the UFC heavyweight champion, Junior Cigano dos Santos, look to defend his title for the first time against the former two-time UFC heavyweight champion, Frank Mir. We're in Vegas, his hometown, and he's getting booed. That's just messed up. Where are you guys from, booing Frank? Dude, Calgary. We're coming to Calgary. How good is that? Any chance you can get Cowboys open again by the time I get there? I miss that place. I can't wait. Calgary, July 21st. It'll be great to get. We got a lot of Canadian shows at the end of the year. Calgary, TO, Montreal. Going to be a ton of fun. And this weekend, we've got the first all-heavyweight main pay-per-view card in the modern era of the Ultimate Fighting Championship. You know, it's kind of crazy. I was going over our stats and all the research stuff that I get before each show, and all these guys' average fight length is like 2 minutes. They've stopped 9 to 10 opponents. There's something about the heavyweights. There's something about the knockout. Of course, Junior Dos Santos won by knockout in just 64 seconds. Man, all of Brazil's here. I like it. And it's going to be great. Don't forget, UFC Primetime continues. The first 2 episodes have been very, very good. Getting the insight on Frank Mir, getting the insight on Junior Dos Santos. And tonight, the semifinals are live on FX of The Ultimate Fighter Live, and the finals are 1 week from tonight over at the Pearl at the Palms right here in Las Vegas. So get ready for that. Don't forget, also, the next time we are in Vegas, not counting next week, the next time we're in Vegas for a pay-per-view, Mandalay Bay down the road, July 4th weekend. July 7th is a show date. That's another UFC Fan Expo. So to get your tickets, UFCFanExpo.com. Check it out. We'll have all kinds of great stuff set up for you, like always. First of all, before we welcome our special guest, give yourselves a big round of applause. Thank you, Fight Club, for being the backbone of the Ultimate Fighting Championship. All right, here's how it works. You guys know how it works because most of you have been here before. We've got microphones set up on each side there. This is proactive. This is all about you. It's a Q&A. It's a Q&A with our special guest. You got any questions for me? I'd be glad to answer them. We'll have a little fun for the next hour. Then the official weigh-ins for UFC 146 Dos Santos versus Mir. The guys are on the scale at 4 p.m. It's kind of funny. I spoke of July 7th, and I spoke of the Ultimate Fighter, and our special guest today has a lot to do with both. He is the former WEC champion. He is one of the greatest fighters in the world today. He's a coach on this season of the Ultimate Fighter, and he will fight for the interim title on July 7th. Down the road at the Mandalay Bay Event Center. Take a look at the big screen at the California Kid, Urijah Faber.
I would say getting punched in the face is something that takes some time. It's almost like alcohol. Maybe try a beer and taste like crap, but then you shove them down and then eventually you start to like this stuff. It's one of those things like it sounds fun, and when it first happens, it's not the coolest thing in the world, and then you kind of acquire a taste for it, and if you don't stop getting punched in the face at some point, it's going to become a problem. I didn't get many fights when I was a little kid just because, first off, my mom would never let us. My pop, he's a guy that is like probably the happiest dude on the planet. He's been a fan of the fighting since I started. Funny story about my mom, you know, I've lost my first fight to Mike Brown in a long time. You know, this is 20-something fights into my career, and she sat down and said, you know, I like the sport, but I think they need to change the rule. He should not be able to hit you in the head like that. 20-some-odd fights before that that I'd been hitting other people in the head like that. She never said anything, but as soon as I got hit in the head a little bit, it was time to change the rules. You know, no hitting in the head after that. So that's kind of how my mom thinks. I'm excited about being part of the UFC. You know, I felt like I've always kind of been there and been a part of it, but it's just a matter of time before the UFC and mixed martial arts are the #1 sport in the world, and I'm stoked to be a part of it. So thanks for the opportunity, guys.
Please welcome the California Kid, Urijah Faber. Good to see you, man.
What's up, folks? How are you?
He's an author as well, as I found out on Fox 5 yesterday. Very nice work on Fox 5.
Thank you. Thank you
Claudine's good. She's a good MMA reporter. If you guys are local in Vegas, Fox 5 has great coverage. You were talking about the book. Start with that a little bit. What's going on with that?
Yeah, just first book, and I've been working on it for a very long time. It turned out awesome. It's a little bit of a motivational book, a lot of good stories. It's like a little Oprah Winfrey, a little Forrest Gump of MMA, a little Van Wilder, a little Rambo. It's a good look.
And a lot of bit of Uriah Faber.
That's right.
Right? Hey, you've been doing nothing lately, dude. You've just been sitting at home eating bonbons, just doing nothing. Right?
Yeah, not much going on in my life these days.
How are you keeping it all together? How's the coaching in it? We should note that since season 1, this is the longest commitment these guys have made to The Ultimate Fighter, which means, very much like Chuck Liddell and Randy Couture, this is the longest commitment as coaches that you and your very best friend in the whole wide world, Dominick Cruz, have made to make these guys better fighters.
Yeah, it's been intense. It's 3 months long, and, getting adjusted at the very beginning was rough. I mean, you're having to do your own workouts. You've got all these new guys that you're getting to know. They've got their own individual personalities and talents and things they need to work on. Once I got in the groove, though, it's been fun. I wasn't real sure how I was going to take to the whole Vegas thing, but I was able to avoid the crazy part of Vegas and kind of enjoy my time here. So feeling great. I feel awesome. Training's been going well, and the team's doing well.
And there's no alpha males in California now. They're all here in Vegas.
Yeah,
right?
Vegas is running rampant with alpha males right now. We got the Party Palmer and Chad Mendez and Joseph Benavidez and the whole crew out here. The last Call Castillo. It's been fun.
And you spent a great week of training with my good friend, my crew, Mark Delagrati from Team Sit-U-Tong. Tell us a little bit about training Muay Thai with Mark and what makes him so unique.
Mark is, first off, he has great energy. You know,
he
in
does.
our team, for those who don't know, Team Alpha Male, we have a great camaraderie. It's really good energy back home. We have a lot of great trainers. But Mark has always been a guy that's like, man, I'm out in Boston. This is with the Alpha Male extension. And he just like loves the energy that we have. And he's incredible, man. We've started to flow right after the first mitt session, and he's doing great. I got a chance to work with a lot of guys through this whole process, bring in some coaches that I thought were awesome. Phil Nurse, also I had him out, and Carlson Gracie Jr., and a lot of guys that take advantage of this whole tough experience.
Will you continue to work with him as you get prepared for July 7th?
Yeah, definitely. And I think, more so probably have him come out and work with the whole team going forward with Team Alpha Male, because he's a good fit.
Yeah, he's also done some work with Sam Stout, which is great because Mark and Sean Tompkins were very close and shared a similar passion, a similar style for their students. So it's great to see him working with Sam as well. Don't be shy, guys. This is all about you. We're just getting warmed up right now. So work your way to the microphones and get her going. Break down tonight, semifinals tonight of The Ultimate Fighter. Tell us who's in. Tell us what you think is going to happen.
It's going to be tough fights. We have our top dog, Ally Quinta, and the guy's like stone-faced, just calm nerve and dangerous. And he's fighting Pichel from Hell. Pichel, the least marketable nickname in the whole UFC. But he's a tough guy also. So you got two guys that are really tough mentality-wise, but I think Al's the more well-rounded fighter. He's got the team back home with Matt, Sarah, and Ray Longo, and he's picked up a lot of stuff here as well. So I think it's going to be a very tough fight, but Al's going to have the advantage. And then we have Chiesa and Vic, who are both 6 foot something, 6'2", 6'3", and really dangerous. So it's going to be interesting to see how that matches up. Chiesa's the wrestler, Vic is more of the striker. So it's going to be that classic battle.
So what's the total score right now between Team Faber and Team Cruz?
I'm not sure what the total score is. When it was all said and done, we had won 5, he had won 3, and now we both have 2 guys in the next round.
So it's perfect then.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's perfect. So we can see what's up. We'll see it tonight. Don't forget to check it out live on FX. We'll start. Sorry, he's wearing UFC gear, bro. Sorry. But you can get yours on the concourse, including this fine shirt with Las Vegas. Feel free. You'll get a discount. I don't think you will, but go ahead. Go ahead, bud.
Hey, Uriah. 2 questions for you. One, on The Ultimate Fighter, you got to shoot some awesome guns. I'm wondering which was your favorite, and what'd you do with the $20,000 that you won?
That whole thing was awesome. We got to do a little bit of practice before then, and I think the grenade launcher was the coolest thing. There was they say the only thing that almost only counts, and horseshoes and hand grenades, and so there's a lot of room for air there. But it was cool, man. I felt like I was in war with that thing, and that thing had a little kick to it, and a big explosion at the end. It was awesome.
What'd you do with the cash?
With the cash, I gave some to my assistant coaches, and the rest is sitting in my safe back home. I'm not sure what we're gonna do with it yet. Maybe, you know, invest in a house, or maybe fix up my Harley when we win this whole Ultimate Fighter show.
Or I could help you spend it tomorrow night at the Barao party.
Well, I appreciate the support. Thanks.
He has that fine ability to do that himself, believe it or
Yeah.
not. Next up over here.
Hey, Uriah, big fan. Can't wait to see the gold around your waist.
Thank you.
Just kind of a loaded question here about the fight with Chad and Jose. I was wondering about your opinion on fence grabbing and the discretion that's left up to it. That takedown that Chad missed, and then obviously he got knocked out afterwards. What's the mood like that around Team Alpha Male?
You know, we don't like to dwell on things that you can't really control, but the bottom line is, you know, that's an infraction. They should have stopped action, maybe started them down, and the ref had said something about that in the locker room, but he had been put on blast because he made a questionable call to the Brazilians earlier in the night. So I think he was kind of like, didn't want to piss off the Brazilians very much, but I mean, it probably would have changed the fight. I mean, had it been a different scenario and Chad hadn't been knocked out at the end of that round, we'd have more to complain about. But, you know, Aldo finished the fight, and he was just, you know, going along. I think he was prepared to take the penalty for the fence grab, but it didn't happen. So it's not his fault. He just kept on fighting, and I mean, you know, he was doing that to save himself from getting taken down, and it would have changed the fight for sure.
Right on. Thanks, man. Can't wait to see you stomp Barao.
Thank you.
Instinctively, Uriah, how difficult is that though? When obviously you've trained for years, you know you can't do it, but instinctively you reach back, you want to grab the fence. How difficult is that to not do?
I don't think it's that difficult when you train like that.
Right.
I mean, I think he did that on purpose,
right,
because he knew, you know,
that's
where
Chad's
he didn't
world,
want to be,
right? Yeah.
and he was willing to take a penalty in order to avoid that and start in a new situation. So it was a gamble on his part, and it paid off.
Right. So you don't give him any leeway, obviously.
No, it wasn't an accident.
Next up over here, go ahead.
Tomorrow at the main event, who do you think's gonna win? Frank Mir or Junior Dos Santos?
Oh, that's a good question. I think it depends where the fight goes. And Mir said it the best. Everyone's saying that Mir's only chance is on the ground. And, you know, Mir said Dos Santos' only chance if it doesn't go to the ground. So because you start in a neutral position, I give the edge to Dos Santos. And he's super athletic. He's got momentum on his side. But Mir is always dangerous.
I think Junior's been on the ground, I read, 19 seconds in his entire UFC career.
Which, you know, I mean, is that, we don't know what we're going to see. It's like,
exactly.
You know, who knows what's going to happen.
Somebody's got to do it first.
That's right.
That'll be the interesting thing. And Frank is going to look, but the thing about it is, as you well know, and as our fans know, Frank can do a lot of damage on his feet. And Junior has much better submission skills than we have seen showcased because he hasn't had to utilize them.
Right.
But training in Brazil, training all those years with the Nogueira brothers, you know, you wouldn't say on paper, okay, Dos Santos by submission or Mir by knockout, but that certainly could be the way the fight ends.
Yeah, no doubt. And I mean, you've seen Mir knock guys out.
Yeah.
I would say the one thing that Mir lacks a little bit is his wrestling. So, you know, that's something to take into account. And the other thing that I think is going to be a little bit of a difference is the momentum that JDS has right now.
Right.
I mean, he's really been on a win streak. No one's really been able to touch him, and you know, that could play a factor.
The feeling of invincibility is a good one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, can be too good sometimes, but it's good. Next over here.
On the Ultimate Fighter, you do a lot of composite, different fight styles. In your opinion, what would be the Ultimate Fighter now? Which fighters would composite the Ultimate Fighter?
Okay, repeat the question at the very beginning.
Sorry, you deal with a lot of different fight styles on the Ultimate Fighter. What would be your composite Ultimate Fighter?
My composite?
Yeah, so striking, ground game, submissions.
I would say a strong wrestling base. I mean, you got to be good at everything, but the thing that wrestlers have is a long history of a crappy sport, meaning you have to just grind your body, you're cutting weight, you're fighting the guys in your room every day, then you're competing 6 months out of the year and you're like beat up and doing stuff that is not like what the normal
Running
guy would
around
do.
in garbage bags.
Yeah, you're doing crazy stuff. So the wrestling mentality is very, very important, but a familiarity with good defense on the feet is really important. I feel like the wrestlers that don't translate over well haven't gotten used to getting hit yet, and it takes a lot of time. You take Brock Lesnar, for example. That guy, you know, incredible
Well, according to your video before, he didn't drink enough beer because he didn't start to like getting hit in the face, right?
Exactly. I'm sure he likes beer. He should have taken a look back at his history with beer and seen, you know, how that whole thing got started.
And that would be Bud Light, of course.
Yeah, or whoever's paying him.
Everybody remembers that fine moment.
I wonder if he's on his wife right now.
Frank Mir. Yeah. I think he's still on his wife right now. Yeah. Where's Brock? Still on his wife.
So I would say you have to be good at everything, but a wrestling base is great as long as you make sure that you incorporate everything else into your regimen as well.
All right, thanks, man.
Yeah.
Awesome, thank you. I think what he wanted to say is what builds the perfect Ultimate Fighter, but I like how he got to it.
Yeah.
And the accent was cool, too.
Great
Yeah,
accent.
that's perfect. Next up over here, go ahead.
Speaking of wrestling, my buddy used to wrestle you when you went to Lincoln. He was in Bella Vista.
Nice.
He wants to know if you still have the sleeveless Superman shirt that you used to always wear at the Wooden Spoon Pancake House as you ate Mickey Mouse pancakes. Is this a valid story? Is there anything to this?
That is a valid story. And the Superman shirt has the sleeves off because they ripped. But I fought my first my first professional fight against a big Mexican dude with pride tattooed across his stomach, and I was wearing that sleeveless Superman shirt and a beanie that I found on the ground at school. But Bella Vista, good stuff. We had some good competitions against those guys.
And the Mickey Mouse pancakes?
I'll eat any kind of pancakes.
Thanks.
All right.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Next up over here, go ahead.
What's up, Uriah? My question is, you know, your next fight is with Renan Barao. Yeah, both are dangerous fighters. Do you think it's going to go to decision?
I really don't think this fight will go to a decision. I mean, right now, the reason I'm so excited for this fight is because this is the most dangerous and exciting fight in the UFC 135-pound division right now. If you look at Dominick Cruz, he's a great fighter. He's not a dangerous fighter. He's really good at what he does. But what's his most exciting fight? It was the one with me, in my opinion. That's the one that's most memorable right now. And Barao, all of his fights are memorable. He's a dangerous dude. He's got 13 submissions, 6 TKO KOs. I've got 14 submissions, 7 TKOs and KOs. And we're going to go out there and try to rip each other's heads off, not just try to win. We're going to be trying to win, but it's going to be a knockdown, drag out. It's going to be ugly. He's got jacked up teeth. I got jacked up ears. It's going to be ugly.
What was your initial reaction? Well, we all saw it around the world, but what was your true initial reaction when you heard about Dominick blowing out his knee? You know, how disappointed were you?
I was very disappointed. I mean, I heard from their camp first, so I knew like a week before everyone else, which gave me time to make up rumors about Ronda Rousey and everything else. But, you know, I feel for the guy. I mean, as much as we get on each other's nerves, there's a mutual respect there. We've spent a lot of time together, and we were so looking forward to ripping each other's heads off. Mostly me ripping his head off and him doing his thing. But, you know, it sucks for him. It sucks for me because that's a big fight. But the bright side is we're going to do it at some other point, and I'm going to keep getting better, and he's probably going to keep hurting himself because he's kind of frail.
This fight you have now with Renan Barao, no disrespect to Dominick, but it's a different type of challenge as you just described, and maybe a more, in your mind, a more dangerous challenge.
Yeah, it's a more, I mean, when you're getting ready for a fight, you want to have that sense of danger,
right. And
I don't really have that. It's like, okay, how am I going to win against Dominick? Barao is, I'm going to go in there and we're going to have a gritty, just knockdown, drag out, and I'm like a mix between Dominick and Barao. I'm dangerous, but I'm elusive. I think Barao hasn't been really tested in the later rounds, although he's got a great mind and you know, obviously on a 27-fight win streak or whatever win streak he's on. I mean, the guy's tough. So he's never fought me. He's never fought anyone of my caliber. I mean, I don't think any of the 27 guys he's beat I wouldn't have beat. but it's something to be said about someone that can put a string together like that.
Yeah, you can always slip and get hit accidentally, right?
Yeah.
Yep, and he's done a great job. I can't wait. July 7th, of course, there's some not that.
It's MGM Grand.
Yes.
Not
Yeah,
the
no, I
Midland.
think it's been changed. I don't know if it's official. I've heard back and forth.
Oh, really?
So
Okay.
if it does get changed, someone should let you know, because if you show up here on fight night,
Yeah.
that's going to be a bad
I'll be here
deal.
fighting by
Yeah,
myself.
you'd be like, wait, whoa, where's the octagon? What's up? I might be at Mandalay. I'm not sure. We'll double check that, though. I heard. I know the expo's over there. I heard we might be changing venues. I know that doesn't bother you because the octagon is the same shape and size and same dimensions in any building, any world, any country, of course, right? That's what you're going to say.
That's right.
Yes, thank you very much. Next up. Thank you.
Hey, Uriah. Dave Rossetti here on Dave Rossetti Media. I have a very technical
like this
question
guy.
for
He's
you.
my kind of guy, multitasker.
Yes, yes. Very technical question for you in regards to Dominick Cruz. If you were a Mortal Kombat character and you were fighting Dominick Cruz, what would be your finishing move?
More of a Street Fighter guy, but I think there is a move in Mortal Kombat where you can rip the guy's head off and his spine's hanging out.
Yes.
I would do that, maybe. I don't know what it's called, though.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Thank
How do
you.
you look on that thing?
How'd that work?
A little chubby.
Ah, thick bone, thick bone.
Hey, do you want to check that? If you need to come and ask again, you know, if that didn't turn out okay, just get back in line. You're all good. Thanks. Next up over here.
All right.
Matching shirts with Uriah. That's awesome.
I got 2 questions, one for each of you. Goldberg, I'm sure you've been asked this a lot, but when are you going to be on Rogan's podcast?
Dude, that's up to Joe. He said, oh, Goldie, we'll do it anytime, and then somehow my phone doesn't ring.
Well, so
We can do it, you know? I don't know if I can drop enough F-bombs and, you know, pretend to smoke as much weed as him, though. So I don't know if I really fit the profile, you know?
I think that might have something to do with why he's not getting the phone
Maybe,
call.
you know?
Loss
He
of
doesn't want to
time.
hear about my kid's hockey team. That's not podcast material. No, I'd be honored to do it. Joe and I are very, very good friends. I'm happy for all of his success, and it's cool. I mean, that's the #1 listened to podcast on iTunes, which is sick. Joe's the best, man.
Cool.
So hopefully very soon.
And Raya, I want to get your take on all these different fighters recently getting exemption for like TRT. I mean, how do you feel about this? Like guys like Todd Duffy, I mean, young guys who are on this kind of stuff?
You know what? I haven't taken much time to research that stuff yet because I'm busy with my own world, but I don't know. I don't really know what the details are, if it's really like a disability they have or if it's just, you know, an excuse. My concern is the health. You know, steroids aren't a good thing for you. So if they're finding a way that's helping them and not hindering them and they really need it, then so be it. But I don't know. I haven't even looked into that thing yet, and as long as they're checking everything out and the people that are in power say it's okay, then I can't really say anything about it.
Cool. Good luck, man, against Barao.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you very much. Next up, go ahead, bud.
Hey, Rafai.
This guy was double fisting before with his Saskatchewan Rough Riders shirt
He got my
on,
name
hat on.
backwards. That's awesome. You started the middle of my name at the front. You're Uriah.
Like I said, he had
It's
he
Uriah.
had 2 Bud Light Limes and no camera going about a half hour ago. Goldie, can I get a picture? Oh man, I don't have a camera.
I was wondering what the biggest challenge of being a champion will be for you again.
I think, you know, the sport is at a point now where there are a ton of great talent just waiting. There was a time in our sport where there was a couple of guys that were the elite and everyone else was kind of back in the woods. But at this point, there's so many talented guys. There's new talented guys that are popping up all the time, and it's just being the guy that they're all gunning for, which as a person who's been there, I love that, and I feel like I'm still kind of that guy. So, you know, there's no challenge. I mean, it's not going to be a challenge. It's just going to be a lot of fun, and I look forward to it.
Good luck.
Thanks, buddy.
Good
Have
luck.
another
Go
beer.
Rough Riders. See, not everybody knew. See, I knew that. Just that Canadian background. Go ahead.
First, I want to give a shout out to all the Lou Linkers out there, and also for Uriah. Barao was able to stifle Scott Jorgensen's style pretty well, and your style is kind of like Scott Jorgensen's. I was wondering exactly what you were going to bring to the game to maybe help yourself where Scott Jorgensen failed.
Scott and I have very, very, very different styles. He's a guy that marches straight forward and, you know, uses the jab a lot. I'm a lot different. Even our wrestling's different. So, you know, watch my fight against Dominick Cruz and then watch Scotty Jorgensen's. I'm a lot more creative, I'm a lot more elusive, and I'm actually probably about 7 pounds heavier than Scott is walking around, so it's just a different fight.
All right, good luck, man. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Go ahead, bud.
What's going on, Uriah?
Chilling, how are you?
Not too bad, man.
Looking good.
I got 2 questions. One, who do you see winning the co-main event, Cain Velasquez or Antonio Bigfoot Silva? And the second question, if you do win the interim title, what type of interim champion are you gonna be? Are you gonna be like a Carlos Condit, thinking it's a golden ticket to the real title, or are you gonna defend the title?
Great questions. First off,
Thank you.
it was swag, I might add. I got that going. I would say that Cain Velasquez has my vote. He's a fellow Pac-10 wrestler, and I remember watching him. I was coaching at UC Davis while he was at Arizona State. I remember him just being having a gas tank on him, and I used to think he was like Gaston from Beauty and the Beast. Like, no one hits like Gaston, no one flicks like Gaston. Yeah. So I think we're gonna have to give him the edge. It was a misfortune that he lost the last fight as fast as he did. He's better than that. And then as far as the champion goes, dude, let me paint a picture for you. I've been at 145 pounds because there was no weight class for me at 135 pounds when I started in this sport in 2003. I've never turned down a fight. I've never asked for somebody that I wanted to fight. I've never done anything except for say, all right, let's fight. That's when I could have dropped down to 135 pounds. You know, at the very beginning of my career, I was just, taking all comers, and that's how I do it, always.
Great answer.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you very much. He's on the Carlos Condit Christmas card list now, for sure. Next up over here.
Hi, Uriah.
What's up?
When you were a kid, did you get bullied?
You know what? When I was a kid, I didn't get bullied, but I would bully the bullies. I was kind of like the guy that would pick on the bully if he was messing with someone. I was never the type of guy that got in a fight. My mom was always giving me, on my report cards, we didn't have A's and B's and C's. We had positives and negatives and needs improvements. It was like at a real cool school. And they're always on me about being a leader and how important everybody is, and that I use my leadership in a good way. And I can't stand bullies. And I don't think that anybody deserves to be bullied out there.
Good job, buddy. Next up, go ahead, sir.
Uriah, I just wanted to congratulate you on your success on The Ultimate Fighter and wish you good luck in your fight.
Thank you.
My question is kind of more for Mike, but I'll get your input as well.
Okay.
There's been rumors that if Bigfoot does win, he's going to get a title shot. I was wondering if there's any validity to that, and if so, does Cain get a shot at the title again if he wins?
Well, when it was originally set up, as you guys know, when it was originally set up, when Junior was fighting Alistair Overeem, the winner of the co-main event was going to be the next in line for a shot at the title. So my assumption would be, and I'll double check with Joe Silva like we do before every fight, because if you guys have noticed over the years, Dana has a tendency to change his mind a lot. So we have to see what he said the night before the fight to see who gets the next chance. But yeah, they're
lie on occasion.
Yes, yeah. He has done that once or twice. But yeah, that is definitely supposed to be the next matchup. The winner will face the winner of the co-main event of the evening. I think Cain Velasquez, should get another shot at the title if he beats Bigfoot. And Bigfoot would continue to come in with great momentum. He's coming off a great performance in Strikeforce. He had the one setback to Josh Barnett, or to Cormier, pardon me. And you know what? He's a worthy candidate to fight for that title. So yeah, it'll be an interesting matchup if it's an all-Brazilian matchup too, with Silva and with Junior if he were to win. But yeah, I think the top four are the top four, and that's why they're in the co-main event and the main event of the evening.
Just one more quick addition. Which fight would you rather see, a rematch between Cain and Junior or Bigfoot and Junior?
I think, in no disrespect to Bigfoot, but I think, as Uriah said, 64 seconds didn't really tell me the story. And take nothing away from Junior Dos Santos, a knockout is a knockout.
I think we all know if they fought when they were supposed to, it wouldn't have went down like that.
Well, I don't think we can say that, though. You don't know that for sure because he got knocked out. So you don't know that. And nobody's beaten Junior Dos Santos in the UFC. That said, Cain Velasquez, Junior Dos Santos again would be a fight I would love to call.
I like to see Bigfoot do his, you see him dancing, he walks in. on Strikeforce. Dude's slick.
Hey, thanks, guys. Good luck. You're right.
I'm sure Frank Mir and Bigfoot have a little bit they want to say about that, though. Next up over here.
Hi, Uriah. I come from Chile. It's more than 10,000 miles from here. And,
Chile sounds awesome. I want to go there.
Oh, you're welcome. And
Thank you.
it's a very beautiful place. I want to say hello to Mike also. And
how are you, sir? We would love to do a fight
Yeah,
there.
I'm happy to be here. And Uriah, I just wanted to know, because now that you have the flyweight, in alpha male, you have just one big fighter for each of the lower weight classes. Is Joseph and you, and Danny Castillo was in Mandalay today, is my hotel. And what are you going to do now in order to keep space for the guys that are in alpha male and that want a spot, for instance, in the featherweight division and in the bantamweight division, if it's you or Joseph there, how will you do the order? Will you fight for the place, or you have a board of members? How do you manage those things? Yeah, but because I sometimes you can get frustrated if you have somebody over there. Yeah?
Right. There's yeah, it's a good question because I've got TJ Dillashaw, who's at my weight class, who, give or take, you flip a coin in the day, and he's getting the better of me, or I'm getting the better of him, getting better every single day. And we have about 30 guys at, you know, bantamweight all the way to 170 pounds that are very, very tough and very, very close. So at this point, this sport's about longevity. It's about, you know, staying on the road and on the path, and these guys, opportunities will come. You know, I believe that. You know, if you grab my book and read the story of Joseph Benavidez, I tell the story about how he came to my gym as an amateur. He was washing the mats and stuff like that, and you know, it was about a couple years in, 8 fights undefeated in, where he was like finally fed up and like, when is my chance gonna come? And it came, you know, and that's the way the sport is. You just got to take your time and work hard. So it'll all work itself out.
Okay, thank you. It's an honor to be here.
All right.
Thank you very much. I'm glad you made it.
Chile, brother.
I will. We had a foreign exchange student from Chile. She was awesome.
I think that's
a nice person.
I think that's something to be
nice person.
Yeah.
Come on. It's in high school.
He's worldwide. That was only a couple of years ago.
Get your heads out of the gutter.
Next up, go ahead, bud.
Oh, me. How long do you do your weight cut for before a fight? Or do you do like a traditional 3-month cut, or do you try and walk around it?
As of late,
what do you weigh right now?
I weigh about 155, 156.
Oh, you get on Uncle Bert's scale. Oh,
yeah, that's true.
Unauthorized usage of the scale is prohibited.
You don't know Bert. You want to mess around.
Bert will freak out. Damn, get on my scale. We rolling. Baby, get on my. I heard you was on my scale. Baby.
I don't want to mess with Bert. That sounded just like him, actually.
That did sound like him, didn't it? I'm good at that.
But I would say, you know, the very first time I made 135 pounds, I was like a preparation freak, and I had a practice cut, and I've made it, I think, 3 or 4 times now. And so I don't worry about it now until about 4 weeks out. I just eat healthy, eat as much as I want, and then I just tone it down. My weight fluctuates like 7 to 8 pounds depending on, like in a day, depending on what my workout's like. So right now I'll be like 156 at the end of the night. I'll wake up around 53 and a half. If I eat something or if I don't eat something, it varies. So I can swing my weight really easily, and it's usually about a 3.5 week like intense cut, and then the last week is the most intense.
Okay. One more thing. When Ronda Rousey came on The Ultimate Fighter, how much did that throw off everybody's game? Having a
dude, nobody in that house had any game at all that night. Did you see all those dudes?
You guys,
like, serious, talk to the girl. She's hot.
Yeah.
Like,
that was
weird.
Awkward. But it's like the risk versus reward. You got all these cameras around. You got your buddies around. Like, what's the payout of going and spending much time talking to this chick? I think that's what was going on.
Okay. Oh no, looking cool on national TV. Yeah,
All
they were pretty shy that night.
You look like Thor.
Yeah. She's the real deal, though, man. She is the real deal and a great ambassador for the sport. Next up over here.
That's a compliment, by the way. Don't beat me up.
Hi, Uriah.
Hello.
I just wondered, because you're such a recognizable face for the UFC and pretty active on Twitter, do you ever have any crazy experiences with fans? And if so, what would they be?
Yes, all sorts of them. And I don't want to put anybody on blast, but there's some unstable folks out there. I like to...
And they all have Twitter accounts.
Yeah, all Twitter. This is like, okay, imagine you're in high school and you're someone who's nice to everyone, and there's a bunch of people that you might not hear of that don't like you for whatever reason or this and that, and they'll never say anything to you because they don't have a reason to, or they're too shy or too scared or whatever. Then get them behind a computer and give them a couple beers and a joint and some rough times and a scapegoat, and man, it gets crazy. But you know, I like to put some guys on blast every once in a while. It's kind of like a cutlow contest. I'll get involved sometimes, but just a little bit.
What about in person?
In person, you know, there's been some crazy women out there, some older women, but you know, just shake hands and thank them for their support.
Thanks a lot.
I was grumpy one night fighting with Twitter people, and I got a little boisterous, and my daughter finally DM'd me on Twitter, "Dad, you're being an asshole." I'm like, oh
She's
man,
probably
my
in the
14,
living room
and she
with
was
him,
right.
too.
My
She's like,
14-year-old
"Hey, Dad,"
called me
instead
out.
of talking to him, she's DMing him.
Yeah. Well, and here's one. I got to ask you guys. This freaked me out a little bit. My daughter's an aspiring actress, so she put her tape up on my Twitter account, wanted to get some feedback. A lot of people were really nice. And then this one dude said, "Man, your daughter's beautiful. Your wife must be a real effing MILF." And I'm like, yeah, she is, thanks. Then he went on to say, "Dude, you're the luckiest man in the world. You get to have sex with your wife every morning, and you created a thing like that." And I was like, is that still a compliment? Or is that a freaky dude who I need to like block right now and report spam? I'm a little confused by it. It freaked me out a little bit though, right? I think he meant it the
There's
nice
some
way,
weird
but I'm not
cats out
sure.
there. It's the funniest thing because a lot of guys, they'll say something stupid and then you put them on blast and then they'll be like, "Hey man, I'm really just a big fan. I take it back." And it's like, "All right, thanks, no problem." Whatever.
Next up over this side. What's up, Niner? What?
All right, what's up, Uriah?
How's it going, man?
All right, first off, I'll start. I'm going to UC Davis right now. I know you graduated from there.
Go Ags.
So, your old buddy Mike Brown's fighting tonight. Opening up the card, I'm pretty sure. He's fighting Daniel Pineda. Who do you have winning that fight?
Oh, geez. I don't know much about Daniel Pineda, so I'm hoping for Brown. I like Brown. He's a good guy, and we have a history. But, you know, he's been kind of up and down lately, so I hope he gets one.
Yeah, this will be our first. This will be mine and Joe's first time calling Pineda because he was on a couple of FX shows.
Yeah. How do you
with
know
Anakin
much
Floyd.
about Pineda?
2 first-round submission wins.
Not much, really.
Yeah.
I saw Mike Brown in the hotel though. He looks like he's cutting a bit.
Yeah, that
He's a
guy
big
cuts
guy,
hard, man. Really hard. But yeah, I don't know, man. We just have to wait and see.
All right. And,
All right.
one more question. Me and my friend right here, we went to high school with Michael McDonald, you know, back in Modesto, and I was wondering how you match up against him, and what do you think? How do you think your skill set matched up against his?
I think Michael McDonald's extremely talented, gifted kid, and I've known him before he was in the UFC and stuff like that because of the Northern California circuit. So he's talented. He's like a lot of the guys. They're dangerous out there. He's not as well-rounded as I am yet, but he's got a lot of time for potential, and I think probably his ground game could use some improvement, but his hands are incredible and his kicks. He's got a little brother too, who's I think 17.
Yeah, went to junior high with him actually.
Yeah, he came down and against his brother's will. He came down to Team Alpha Male for a day, and he got in at 9. And he didn't leave till 8 at night, and just sparred everyone the whole day. So that whole family's tough.
Yeah.
All
right.
Good
Michael's
Take it
20,
easy, guys.
still 20, right? He didn't turn 21 yet?
21.
He is 21 now? So you don't have that being able to buy beer on him anymore. He can buy it himself now.
Yeah.
Next up over here.
Yeah, first of all, I'd like to say, Uriah, thank you for always having a awesome fight. You are very entertaining, and your fights are always good banging fights, so.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work.
My pleasure.
Also, I got a question. So besides the 2 classes that you fought in, if you could put yourself in any weight class, what class would it be and who would you fight?
I would say the heavyweight division because they get paid the most, and hoping to help change that over the next couple of years. But you know, this is a risky sport, and it's getting to the point now where we can start setting ourselves up for the future. But it seems like the heavyweights get paid the most. So that being said, who I'd want to fight? Brock Lesnar, because he's good at one thing and he's got a big name.
Cool.
And
Thank you.
yeah, that's it. Huh?
All you got to do is hit him.
True.
Yeah. He said that, Brock.
No, I think Brock's great for our sport. They were talking about him being
He's been outstanding for
in the
the
Hall
sport.
of Fame.
There's
I mean,
no question.
the one thing that people don't understand is Brock accomplished something that a lot of guys like myself, like even some of the top fighters in the world have tried, is to become a national champion in wrestling, and Brock accomplished that. So you got to give him a lot of credit. And even though he only had 4 fights in the sport, and probably could have dedicated a little more time to it, I mean, what an impressive guy for our
106-5
Yeah.
as a collegiate wrestler.
Pretty
That's
incredible.
about as good as it gets. He's outstanding. Next up over here, hey, don't forget too, we've got our UFC merchandise, the official merchandise up on the concourse. My good friend Jeff Wynn will set you up with whatever you guys need. So check out the great stuff if you have a moment. Go ahead.
Hey, Uriah, I was wondering if you could take one fighter to bring him to Alpha Male, who would it be and why?
One fighter from Team Alpha Male.
To bring in.
To bring in, be part of the team?
Yeah.
Man, there's a lot of good guys out there that I'd like to bring on the team. We've had a lot of foreign exchange guys and stuff like that. But, yeah, Zombie's a cool guy. We had a good time with him. Didn't speak any English at all, except for what I taught him. And he had a great attitude, so he'd be a good guy to have.
And good luck in your fight.
Thank you, man.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. July 7th, Urijah Faber, Henan Barao. Go ahead.
Hey, good afternoon, Uriah and Goldie. It's always a pleasure. My name is Casey Caston, and I've had the privilege of seeing you fight twice at WC 38 and 48. And I wanted to ask you personally, Uriah, what happened with Form Athletics, man? I thought it was a good brand, clean MMA brand. I want to know your side of the story.
Yeah, that's a good question. I haven't really addressed it because it was kind of like out of my hands. I sold that company to K-Swiss eight months after we started it, and and it was just stuff that I like to wear. I've yet to find another brand in MMA that I like as much as I did his Form as well. And what happened is the son of, the owners of K-Swiss, there's a father and the son. The son was kind of running the shop, and he's the one that was going with this. K-Swiss had a terrible month in the stock market and just closed up a bunch of different things, and they used Form Athletics kind of as a tax write-off, which is unfortunate. It was an awesome brand. And then right after that, we've got I'm fighting, Joseph Benavidez is fighting, Chad Mendes is fighting, Jones Bones is fighting, Anthony Pettis is fighting. Everybody's fighting for huge fights. There's free commercials out and all this stuff. And the way the deal was structured, I was going to get a deal in the third year of the profits. All the profits in the third year was part of the buyout. And so the third year would have been this year, and they would have got no money again for a whole year because it was still building. So there's a lot of stuff that was behind the scenes, but basically they just used it as a tax burden. And, that's big business. Form was a little business. Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, and I like the shirt, man. I'm going to bring something else out here soon, something cool.
Hey, we just got time for a couple more questions. I apologize for those of you guys who couldn't get in, but Uriah will be around for some pictures. He's got a coach tonight. Semifinals live on FX. Don't forget, July 7th is the next UFC pay-per-view. Uriah will be on the card. Anderson Silva, Chael Sonnen, our main event that night, and the UFC Fan Expo. You can get your tickets now, UFCFanExpo.com. We'll take one more each side. Go ahead.
Hi,
Mr. Blue Jay.
Yeah, my question's for Mike. A couple years ago, there was some talk about how you were approached by WWE to kind of switch sides. And I was wondering if you could talk a bit about that and how close were you to leaving the UFC?
I was about 6 days away from leaving the UFC. They were moving from Spike back to USA Network at that time. And I was pretty honored by it, to be quite honest with you, because the WWE is very different than we are, but I think they're the best at what they do. And so when they came out, I was a big Hulk fan back. I watched WrestleMania 1 in college. That's how old I am. Mean Gene Okerlund was the man. I loved him. His son was a hockey player, played on the Olympic team. So I was honored by the offer. That said, I went to Dana and I went to Lorenzo, and I just said, I don't want to leave. This is my family, and I don't want to go. This is what's on the table, and they didn't want me to leave either, and I'm still thankful to this very day that they didn't want me to go. And, the one thing I will tell you is that Joe and I have been in some bad places, man. Some small venues where we were giving out tickets before the show. And it was like this big ship that I'd been on for years, this journey of the UFC, and we hadn't quite made it to the Big Island yet. And I kind of wanted to see where that journey was going to go. And I'm sure glad I've stayed on that journey. But it was very cool. WWE is very classy. Thank you very much. Last question over here.
How's it going, Mike and Uriah? I just kind of wondered to ask you a general question about how do you guys feel about how Chael Sonnen promotes the sport? Do you like the WWE style, or do you like to let the sport speak for itself?
You know what? I think the sport needs guys like Chael Sonnen. And Chael, I've known Chael for a long time. A lot of people don't know that. He was a wrestler at Oregon when I was a wrestler at UC Davis, and he's always been an upstanding individual. And the guy was coming over from the WC as the world champion, and then came over and got put on the undercard for the UFC. And I think he chose to make a switch and say, you know, I'm going to make something. You know, I need to stand out in this sport, and just being the regular, nice, intelligent guy that I am is not enough. And he won't probably, you know, agree with or admit to that. But the guy hit a switch and decided, hey, I'm going to stand out in this sport. I'm going to create my own opportunities. And I think he does it in an interesting way that everybody can either really hate or really love. So, you know, what more could you ask for from a fan?
You know, it's the old saying, the Howard Cosell, Monday Night Football. You know, you watch because you hated him, you watch because you loved him, but you watched. And Tito Ortiz was great at it for years as the Huntington Beach bad boy. Chael Sonnen's taken it to the red belt level. That dude is the master
he's
of
smart.
all masters.
I just bought his book. I just bought his book.
Yeah, I got mine coming too.
And you got to read between the lines, but it's pretty funny, man. It's good stuff.
And he has evoked emotion in all of us, and who's not fired up for that fight against
right.
Anderson Silva.
Thank you very much.
And he thinks I'm innocent on the whole flexing in the mirror thing with Dana White, too. So I'm hiring him as my lawyer.
All right, guys, thank you. We got a couple of giveaways for you. First of all, let Uriah pick the winner. What? Which one's this? Fight Club Backstage winner. Draw one.
Okay, here we go. Destiny says to put this one back and grab another one. All right. Paul Beaumont.
There you go, Paul. Come see Rachel Sutton, and we'll see you backstage in a little bit.
The next one is?
A signed glove by JDS.
Hot off the press, he just signed it.
Don't touch the ink, it's still wet. Don't smear it.
Does that matter that he just signed it? I don't think so, right? I think it's fun. Okay, it's fun, guys.
Two winners.
2 winners.
Yep,
Hold these,
2
please.
winners. You know, you only get one hand.
Dana.
Just one glove, sorry.
Right. Vanna
Seriously,
White.
what are you, Michael Jackson? What's going on with the one glove thing? What, are they going to walk around with one glove? They might. I've seen them wear them. Yes, they wear them.
Vanna White, the glove, please. Ryan Brown.
Ryan, that's the
There
right-handed
he
glove,
is.
Ryan.
Go
All right.
Ags. There he
The
is.
young man from Modesto. And our final winner of the other part of JDS's anatomy. What?
Final winner is Glenn Reynolds.
All right, brother. Congratulations. Hey, big round of applause for the California Kid, Urijah Faber.
All right.
Official weigh-ins are at 4 o'clock. Come see Rachel Sutton to gain your prize. Don't forget the merchandise is available right now in the concourse, and your tickets are available at UFCFanExpo.com. Uriah Faber.
All right, go grab my book, guys. Laws of the Ring. You're going to like it.